everyone, this is Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Today I want to show you how to change the rear differential fluid on your 2018 Nissan Armada, or this will be good for the second generation of Nissan Armadas. Now the first thing that you want to do is get a catch pan and go to the rear of your vehicle. It's going to be right in front of the spare tire that's underneath the vehicle, and this is going to be your rear differential, and then your CV axles, one on each side there. So if you have a 3/8 or I'm using a 10 millimeter, this is a hex socket, and you want to go ahead and just loosen that. And what you can do too is keep an eye on how many threads you have exposed. If you don't have a torque wrench, or if you don't know the specs on this, it looks actually like it's most all the way in, but if anybody out there knows the exact specs on these bolts, just leave them in the comments below. So we'll go ahead and loosen up the bottom one because it's going to drain from the bottom. Look at all that sludge that's on this. Now this is a 2018, and it's got probably about 42,000 miles on it right now, and that's the sludge that's on the end of the magnetic pickup that's on the bottom bolt of this. So you want to go ahead and clean all that off before putting it back in. And what I'm using is a synthetic 75/90 gear oil, but you want to check your specifications just to make sure that that's the proper oil that you want to put in here, or that you need to put in. And usually your auto parts store can help you with that too, to determine what kind of gear oil you need to use. Now once you get that cleaned off, you can go ahead and open up the top bolt, or go ahead and just take it out. And you see this one doesn't have any magnet or anything on it, and that's the top one. I'm going to try to clean out the hole a little bit because you've got all the metal shavings and stuff in there. You can also run some fluid in the top hole before you close it, just to drain a little bit more of that gunk out of there. And you can do this a couple different ways. If you have one of those little pumps that you put fluid into, you can do it that way. Or what I'm doing here, I've got a bottle with the cap, the tip just cut off here, and went ahead and just opened up the lid and attached a hose. So we'll see how well this works. Put that in there first. I'll go ahead and squeeze the bottle a little bit just to get that gear oil moving. Once you're satisfied with what's come out of the bottom, you can go ahead and close this back up. And I was going to put thread locker on there, but both of these have washers, so I'm not going to put any thread locker on them because they didn't come with it originally. So once you've closed the bottom hole, you can go ahead and just keep filling the top hole until you get fluid coming out of the top hole. Now for the second quart, this is what I'm using here. It's the same as the first quart, but it went really slow until I poked a couple holes in the back of the bottle, and it still wasn't going very fast. So I'm going to go ahead and use this pump that I have and see if this one actually works a little bit faster. It's just a multi-use transfer pump. You can buy these at Harbor Freight or online. And so what you do, you put one end in the bottle, and you put the other end that says out into wherever you want it to go to, and then you just start pumping. Let's see if this actually works. It's been a long time since I've used it, so I don't know if it's still working or not. Oh, I can feel it sucking in the fluid now. And the main thing on this is just to keep your bottle from tipping over. Because once it gets empty, it does like to tip over. Took right at about 2 quarts. Now you can see it's pouring out of the top hole, so you know it's full. That was a lot faster. So if you're on level ground, you can just wait a little bit until that finishes oozing out, and that way you know it's level. If you're not on level ground, you probably want to go to level ground, that way you can tell how full you need to have this. Well, it's mostly done oozing out, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten the bolts up. And like I said, if anybody has a good torque spec on there, on these 2 bolts, just leave them in the comments. But there weren't any threads exposed. It was just the washer that I was seeing, so you can't really go by threads exposed. But when you feel you've got it tight enough, you can drive around a little bit, make sure everything's dried off. And then if it's still leaking, go ahead and tighten it up just a little bit more. Well, this has been Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Good luck on your next home or automotive project.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And check out the merch store at mikesdiy.net.